This is The Rumor Report with Angela Yee on The Breakfast Club.
So listen up.
Right, and a lot of people have been talking about the show Friends and the lack of diversity on the show. Well, one person who was on the show was Sherri Shepherd. There was only a handful of Black people on the show during its existence, and it was her, Aisha Tyler, Gabrielle Union, one of the very few Black faces on the show. So John Murray, who's a pop culture commentator, and he's also friends with Sherri Shepherd, was talking to ABC News, and Sherri Shepherd told him he could go ahead and tell this story. But apparently after the show, she wasn't invited back on because at that time you would send out postcards and thank people for being on the show. And here's what John Murray said happened when Sherri Shepherd sent out her postcards.
Sherri Shepherd, former co-host of The View, she was one of the few Black faces that was on Friends. Her, Aisha Tyler, and Gabrielle Union. And Sherri was on Friends at a time where you sent out postcards to let people know, hey, I'm going to be on TV. And on her postcard, she sent out a color photo of herself and she said, Friends gets a little color. Well, she also sent that photo to Marta. And she got the postcard and was never asked back on the show. So I don't know how oblivious she is to the fact that she didn't have a lack of diversity and she wasn't aware. I think when you know better, you do better. And I hope moving forward, she makes better decisions to be more inclusive.
Wow. Well, she's absolutely right. Why you was upset? Why they upset with Sherri Shepherd? Because she said the right thing. Add a little color to your Friends lineup. That's why I never watched Friends, because when I saw Friends, I just wasn't interested because there was nobody on there that looked like me. And I'm the type of person that likes to watch things that don't pertain to me and read things that don't pertain to me. I just was never interested in Friends.
Yeah, me neither. I never watched Friends.
I think I've seen Friends because I actually used to watch Seinfeld and Friends would always come on right after. So sometimes the TV would still be on, but it's like scattered that I might see some of the episodes. But Seinfeld didn't have Black people on there really either. So
I didn't watch that either.
I didn't watch Seinfeld either.
I did watch Seinfeld though. And you know what show was very diverse? And you know it's one of my favorite shows though, when I look back at it, The Office. I don't know if y'all watched The Office.
I ain't watched The Office either.
I watched some episodes of The Office. Office was good. I actually want to binge that. I might binge that over the next couple of weeks, actually.
I've seen every single episode of The Office ever, and I do love that show. All right, now Reese Witherspoon talks about not knowing what homosexuality was. They did this series, Variety's Actors on Actors, and it's Reese Witherspoon and Regina King, and they're having these discussions. And if y'all watch Little Fires Everywhere, which, you know, I love that show too, that series. Mm-hmm. On the show, Reese Witherspoon's daughter is also, she's gay and she hasn't come out to her mom yet. So here's Reese Witherspoon talking about her own real life experience and how that played into her character on the show.
No one spoke to me about sexuality when I was a teenager. I didn't understand what homosexuality was. My grandparents didn't explain it. My parents didn't explain it. I had to learn from somebody I met on an audition in Los Angeles.
Oh, wow.
We incorporated some of the conversation I had with my grandmother afterwards, where she said, you know, homosexuality is very rare, Reese. And we put it in the script.
And you actually, Elena.
My grandma said that.
Elena said that.
And Elena says it because that's what was said to me.
Now, maybe I missed it, but how old was she during this time when she didn't know what homosexuality was?
She was a teenager.
Where the hell is she from? Because I'm from Moncks Corner, South Carolina, a very rural town. When I was growing up, it was 7,000 people, and I knew what being gay was. So where the hell is she from? That she didn't know what being gay is. That's
right. I mean, well, she's from Nashville, Tennessee.
New Orleans?
I think Nashville, Tennessee. Oh, I thought she was from Nashville.
She born in New Orleans. I don't know. Maybe she was raised in Nashville. Said she was born in New Orleans. You was in New Orleans and didn't know what gay was? Come on now.
That sounds
so you was
crazy.
A teenager?
Yeah, that sounds
maybe
crazy.
I don't know. Maybe she was sheltered.
Yeah, you don't know. I mean, who knows? But Regina King, meanwhile, in this interview, says that she thinks it's very insulting when celebrities are telling people, stay home, stay home. Here's what she had to say in this same interview.
You have to understand that while we're telling people, stay home, there are people out there who are not in financial situations that to say that to them is almost insulting.
She's absolutely positively correct. You don't know people's situation. You don't know their circumstances. Some people got to get up and go to work. They don't have the luxury of working from home like we're currently doing right now.
Correct.
Man, some people have businesses that are going to shut down if you're a small business owner. And a lot of people weren't able to get that paycheck protection program going. A lot of people are struggling because of that. So it is a situation where everybody's different as far as what they can and can't do and what their anxiety is and financial situation is. So yeah, it's difficult to tell people stay home. All right. And Jill Scott is talking about going to visit a plantation, a former slave plantation, and how she couldn't believe that some of them are now whitewashed and they're making them like a Airbnb location or a cozy vacation spot. You know how they have the bed and breakfast and it used to be a plantation and they give you the whole tour. Well, here's what she said her experience was.
So I take the tour and they're walking through the parlor and talking about how they would host guests and serve brandy and tea and have conversation and music would be played. And everybody's going, oh, no, don't touch the furniture. And the lady shows us a picture and she says, noticed how no one really smiled back then. And I looked at those faces. And I decided that I was going to get away from this tour.
Yeah, I did always think it was weird when you go places and it's like such and such plantation. Like, it's time to let that go also.
Well, you don't want to come to South Carolina then. South Carolina got a million of them.
Does that bother you?
You know what's so interesting? I grew up around all of that overt racism, and it was so normal to me that I didn't even think it was overt racism. Now that I'm older, yes, when you see all those plantations, and you know people come to Charleston and they take tours of the plantations, and you know they just took down the John C. Calhoun statue, which is in Marion Square, and Marion Square is actually in the shape of the Confederate flag, and we got Confederate flags all over the State House buildings and federal buildings. So yeah, it does bother you. It didn't bother me growing up because I just accepted it as normal.
The crazy part is we didn't see much of that, you know, growing up in New York. But when I went to school in Virginia, I was smacked with reality. That's when you started seeing Confederate flags. That's when you start seeing racism at an all-time high when I went to Hampton University. But
and
really didn't see it that much.
So funny. And no, you're right, because when New Yorkers used to come down to South Carolina, they would always be like, man, I got to get up out of here.
Mm-hmm.
Right, it's crazy feeling.
But to me, it's just like, this is just what I was used to. That's what I know. But yes, it does bother me, especially the plantation.
And we told you about Rhode Island dropping plantation from their state name. It was called Rhode Island and Providence Plantations, and now they're getting rid of that. Just Rhode Island.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm Angela Yee, and that is your rumor report.